I wish you all would have more patience with yourself. Patience with oneself is so important, and today's world, we're always rushing around, we're always rushing everything. And with ourselves, we want to see like very quick results. I think in so many aspects of life, you see this journey where, let's say you're practicing or you're working and you don't exactly see the end goal, or you won't see the exact steps that will lead you to the end goal. Right? In many things, you'll hit a point, you'll hit a moment where you'll be training or you'll be working just, let's say, in the darkness, without like the light of that end vision, right? And we can find ourselves in these dark tunnels all the time, but it's really patience that helps us through as much as the persistence. As much as everyone says discipline this and discipline that, it's a lot about our patience too, and how we see our own journey. Abraham Lincoln said, if I was given 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'd spend 5 hours sharpening my axe. And I thought about it, like, what if it takes 6 years to do something? Would you spend 5 years researching and planning and thinking it out and making sure you're doing it in the best way possible? Would you spend 5 years doing everything in your power to make sure you're going to be the best you can for that final year to enact? No, I mean, that sounds a little crazy. That's how patience is. That improvements in life are almost never instant, almost never a jump from level to level. So I'd say enjoy being at that plateau. When you reach a moment where it's just like minute improvement over minute improvement, I'd say enjoy being there. Stay there, enjoy being there. Enjoy learning as much as you can. Patience with oneself means being lenient. It doesn't mean being hard on yourself. You should put yourself through hard training. You should discipline yourself. You should build your strength and your perseverance. But also, don't get so caught up on your work that you miss all the progress that's happening underneath. Don't become so fixated on day to day that you miss the goal. And likewise, don't become so focused on the end result that you lose heart when things slow down. I think patience with ourselves comes from deep down inside. It comes from internally not wanting right away. It comes from like waiting for results. And everyone talks about this too, delayed gratification. What if you don't know when that gratification is coming? Right? Because if we know something's only going to last a little while, we'll push through it. But there's a lot of times when we don't know how long something will last. In that case, it's about the process. And the process requires patience. Patience to wait out the times that are uncertain. One thing I'd say is that if you have a dream, if you have like a long-term goal, like if you know where you're going in life, let's say you're practicing every day. All right, let's talk about martial arts. Let's say you're training every day, and long-term, you're going to fight. You're training for a fight. It's very important for our inner patience to keep humility and to be training those fundamentals and those basic things every single day. So for martial arts, it doesn't matter if you're already a black belt. It doesn't matter if you've already reached the master level. But on the journey to becoming as best as you can be, you have to take a step back sometimes. You have to make sure that all your punches are with good form. You have to make sure that you're moving correctly. You have to make sure that you have good head movement. Like in martial arts, it's always form first, and then speed, and then power. Form first. And how long do we work on that form? How long do we go against the bag and tap it with the same punch with the same combinations over and over again? Over and over again. It's like that with everything in life. We get to a point in life, and then we have to go back to fundamentals. And patience, the patience in us says to not lose heart, says to keep going. And remember that those fundamentals are what make us up and build us back up. In a relationship, you might get frustrated when you have to go back and you have to teach yourself how to communicate your feelings once again. That might frustrate you. You might say, why can't it just be like this? Why can't I just get what I want right now? No. You have to have patience. So in cultivating patience, I say, remember that many times we have to go back to the very basics. We have to go back to the very beginnings. Another tip for patience is to remember that progress is going to vary in how much it changes. Like I was talking about plateaus, sometimes you'll improve very quickly and then you'll hit a point where you're just like, it doesn't seem to be moving much. The needle seems to be going up inch by inch by inch. I can understand that can be frustrating. It can be very frustrating. I've seen that many times. I've seen that many times. Going back to martial arts, like how many times have I been hit with the same combo, like the same hook to the side of my head? Oh gosh, keep my hands up, keep my hands up. I mean, I've been doing Muay Thai for almost 3 years, and like my coach will still yell at me, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. And for me, like sometimes when I hear this, I'm like, that's day one. That's day one stuff, keep my hands up. But fundamentals. And that is where patience comes from. In any sort of art, actually. Let's say you're painting. You have to, if you make a mistake, you have to have patience with yourself that this won't ruin the end result. And maybe when you're painting, you have great moments of incredible vision where you can see the end result and you're really painting it out and you're really going quickly. But also you'll have those moments of kind of like painter's block where you don't know what it's gonna look like. You don't know what color to use. And that's where this next tip comes in, reflection. Our improvements come from training just as much as they come from our own self-reflection, from stepping away for a while and taking a look at the big picture and saying, okay, what's happening here? I think it's so important for life too, that if you're pursuing those goals, and it's easy to get caught up right in the work. Sometimes you just gotta take a step back and say, okay, what's going on here? And it's like looking at the trajectory of where you're going. Like, am I hitting all these markers? That's why it's so beneficial. It's so beneficial to break your goals down into little small steps so that you can look at those steps and say, yes, I'm on track. I'm on track. Those small steps help our patience too, right? Because some steps are going to come quickly and some are going to come very slowly. It's going to come very slowly sometimes. So I would say, for your own improvement, just take some time to reflect and consider the path you're taking and consider how everything is coming together like pieces in a puzzle. And finally, probably the most important thing for our patience is God. You know, man was made for God. We're called to a relationship with God. So I think it's so important to trust in God's plan. So many times in my life, I've seen that God has pushed me away from things. And at the moment I was frustrated. I said, why can't I have that, God? Why am I not allowed to have what I want? And now when I look back, I see, wow, that actually came together beautifully, quite beautifully. I go to college in Worcester, and I want to train Muay Thai in Worcester. But when I went to go see the gym, the prices were so expensive. It was over $200 a month. Now, like before even considering if that was worth it for this kind of gym, I didn't have that kind of money. I don't have the money for that gym. And probably when I go back in the fall again, I won't be able to train at this gym. I won't be able to train Muay Thai during school. But earlier last year in October, I was very saddened to my soul that I was not able to train Muay Thai because I love it so much. I was very sad. And I said, God, why can't I train Muay Thai? But there's a club for martial arts on campus called SOMA, Society of Martial Artists. And if I train Muay Thai at this gym, would I really consider this club? Would I really put so much trust in it? Would I really run for an exec position? Would I become treasurer? And even after I couldn't train, would I really make a post on Snapchat saying, hey, anybody wants to spar? And that's how I met Adam. That's how I met my best friend. That's how I met all my friends, through Adam. Through that day we first sparred on the campus because I was not able to train Muay Thai. So I look back, not being able to train opened me up to Soma, opened me up to leading the group in some way, opened me up to like all of my friends in a way. And I think that's so blessed. I think God really blessed me by removing martial arts from my life in college, so I can not only focus on school, but I could also meet all of my friends. So we need to trust in God's plan, because in the moment things like may not make sense to us, but when you look back, it all comes together so beautifully. And that was really God working in my life. That was God working in my life. And I can think of countless other examples, countless others. So we really need to trust in God's plan, because God knows us, God knows what we need. And if we just open our hearts to Him, He'll be responsive and He'll give us what we need. And many times that will look like nothing. It will look like struggling. God will allow us to struggle to gain something out of us, right? They say diamonds are formed under pressure. God knows us. God created the diamonds. He created the earth. In God's infinite wisdom, He knows how all the pieces of the universe fit together, and we don't. So a lot of times we see in our own lives that nothing's really changing. A lot of times we see in our own lives that nothing's really changing, but we're being prepared. That's another tip for patience. That when things seem to be staying the same, we need to consider God. We need to humble ourselves and consider our own sins and think about what's important. Think about what lesson is God trying to teach us. Do we need to open ourselves more to Him? Do we need to trust more in Him? Do we need to realize that only His love will bring us the fullest satisfaction? Will fully make us happy? It's amazing in my own life how there are times when it seemed like total darkness. When it seemed like I was just suffering. Like maybe I was depressed. I was so anxious about something. I was going through it for so long. But I stuck through it. I kept with God. And at the end of every single one of those times, I learned some kind of lesson. I came away with, maybe more, maybe a few lessons. I came away with many things learned and what to do in my life now. So you should ask yourself the same thing. You should be patient with yourself. Patient with your own growth, patient with how the levels may move quickly or they may move slowly. And don't turn away from God. Turn your face to God, please. And He will work on your heart. He will allow you to be tested so that you may become stronger. He will allow you to become anxious so you can realize that things are really okay. He will allow you to become sad so that you can rejoice in His happiness when the time is over. God builds persistence in us every day, and I ask that you be open to it. To be open to His word and how He's calling all of us. So be patient with yourselves. Love yourself just as God loves you.